Jeff's ready.
Mr. Pinner.
Jeff's ready.
Here we go.
Jeff's watching us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the session From Cloud to Customer, how AWS fuels Robinhood's investor experience. My name is Trevor Spires. I am the AWS Solutions Architect working with Robinhood engineering teams day in and day out. And we've got an action-packed session for you all today. We're going to dig into many of the launches, particularly with a generative AI focus that Robinhood has undertaken over the past year. We'll talk about Cortex, customer support use cases, and even some of the internal productivity tools that Robinhood has launched on AWS using generative AI. But first, let's meet our lovely panel for today. Actually, going from you, Berksy, on down. Why don't you kick us off?
I can't escape that nickname. Hey, everybody. I'm Andrew Burks. I'm a Senior Director of Engineering at Robinhood for all of the trading products. I've been at Robinhood for 7.5 years. Before that, I worked at a startup building hardware for the smart home that failed in spectacular fashion. And before that, I worked at Apple as a software engineer on iOS.
Okay, my name is Siva Subramanian. I'm a VP of Engineering in Robinhood. I lead brokerage engineering, all the things you see, trading products, retirement advisory, and the platform and international efforts. Before Robinhood, I was at Box for quite a number of years, and then Yahoo before that. Yeah, glad to be here.
Awesome. Hey guys, I'm Sudip Kapadia. I work for AWS. I run customer solutions for financial services customers across North America. I've been at AWS for a little over 8 years. Prior to that, I was at Oracle. Unfortunately, I sold all my shares, so couldn't benefit. All right, so that was kind of tough to watch. Prior to that, all startup companies as well. We've been working with Robinhood for quite some time. It's truly a lighthouse customer for us, particularly in terms of innovation. I think speaking of innovation, really throughout the past year, I would say maybe to you, Siva, why Gen AI at Robinhood and why now?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Gen AI, it's changed everything. It's changed everything, and Robinhood is no different. Thankfully, a couple of years ago, when we met together to come up with the 10-year vision, AI and crypto technologies were foundational for us, and we've made a lot of progress in the last couple of years. Yeah, the world is changing, how work gets done is changing. So at Robinhood, we've always been abreast of the latest and the greatest, and not just us. When we build products, we want our users to get the benefit. So yeah, we have done a lot of stuff, starting from, again, the key is secure. You'll keep hearing this from me. How we do it, how safe, how reliable. With AI, it's even more important than before. So we started with making sure we are safe and reliable, tested it in terms of governance and coverage for the models. And then we started looking at internal operations. How do we make things better for our internal folks? And then this year beginning, you saw us launch Cortex Digest, Customer Success Bot, and more things that we announced from Berks' team yesterday. So yeah, we are going to continue. Our goal is to get to a place where we can build autonomous financial agents, and that's the path we are on. And we are already agentic, and I'm going to pass it on to Berks to talk about more of the products we announced yesterday as well.
Yeah, real quick, folks in the audience, who has used Cortex in the app? We got a few folks. What about that trusty customer experience agent? Click the bottom right of the app. Got a few users. You all need to check it out. That was one of the first use cases that launched in the Robinhood app, but virtually any question about the Robinhood product features can be answered right there in the app. But the belle of the ball in generative AI is definitely Cortex this week. So, yeah. Brooksy, tell us all about, maybe set the foundation for maybe how Cortex started, and then I know we got 3 key features that folks can be waiting for or looking at in the Cortex family.
Yeah, maybe I can give like a general overview of how we've been thinking about it. Robinhood's mission is to democratize access to the financial system. That's really what we're going after. And I think with AI, we've seen a ton of power in, like Digest, summarizing the news, getting all of this data together in one place that's really easy to understand. And that helps our customers make better decisions on what they want to trade. So that's the first thing we launched earlier this year. From there, last night we launched Cortex indicators and scanners. You saw Swaroon, our 1-minute indicator scripter. And basically, these are tools that put power in the people's hands, really, to use this advanced functionality that was only accessible to a few before, and only the most hardcore. And so generative AI has been a huge unlock in us offering these products. And I think what we're going to see from our customers is that they come to depend on it, and it becomes an integral part of their trading. And so that's what we're really most excited about. And as we said last night, this is only the beginning. There's a lot more that we want to do. So hopefully that gives you a sense of it.
It certainly does. In fact, I have a question for you on Cortex Scanner. What that particular feature? I'm a value investor, so I was thinking of all of the complex queries I can do, scanning maybe PEs across different firms that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Any queries you've run on Scanner that you found particularly interesting?
Well, I think we showed it last night, which is CEOs the deadlift.
The deadlift.
Yeah, I think what's crazy about the scanner, when we first started building it, we were working on the UI and refining the experience and starting to tune the model and how it was going to work, and we had in every single one of these kind of internal demos we would say, hey, show me companies that are breaking out. And I remember the first one we were in, they write it out, and it's all this kind of prototype UI. And it just shows company after company that's printing 15% or more gains within an hour. And we were like, oh my gosh, we're really onto something. This is so cool. And not only because this feature exists, because you can do it in the wild today, right? You can go there, you can click through all these filter menus, and you can see, dial everything in the way you want. But inevitably, you're going to miss something. And it takes a long time to do that. It takes 20, 30, 40, an hour long. Now you can do it in literally under 30 seconds, as we showed last night, and it enables you to stay in the right headspace to make the trade that you want. And so that's really what I'm most excited about. It's not a particular scan. I mean, the deadlift thing is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But just the idea that you can go from having an idea or a thesis to seeing results before you can even get your phone out to check some other app, you're going.
Yeah, the time from thesis to decision.
Yeah, huge.
As a trader is massively optimized. Sudeep, I want to ask you a question. So Sudeep gets to work with financial services customers across industry representing AWS. I'd be curious to get your thoughts for those folks in the audience.
Yep.
How does Robinhood stand out in the larger financial services industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys know, financial services heavily regulated. I think one of the great things, that Robinhood takes advantage of is that they're cloud native, right? You guys are born in the cloud. And, ultimately what we see with some of these other institutions is to manage the technical debt of on-premises environments, the resources also, and it just naturally slows them down, right? I think you guys being all in on our platform, on AWS, gives you a tremendous advantage, right, in terms of approach and speed, and being able to spin up new services, particularly around Gen AI, such as Bedrock, very quickly and iterate quickly is a huge advantage. I think also when you look at generative AI, what we see a couple of years into kind of the boom now, you have to have a sound data strategy to take advantage. We're seeing customers that do have that realize business benefits faster. So, and we've seen that in your environment. You have an excellent data strategy and all-in kind of approach within AWS. Again, that lets you iterate quick. And then as we talk about these new capabilities around social and Cortex, it's something you can iterate on and deliver value to your customers a lot faster. I think the second piece is, there's a lot of talk here about the time it takes from when you have an idea to go to a proof of concept to production.
Yeah.
We have seen in many cases, again, this takes months in most other environments. Again, heavily regulated, a lot of resources, a lot of technical debt. We're seeing, in your case, this process taking a few weeks to sometimes a few days. And that is very differentiating from what we see with other customers. And again, back to the new capabilities that you're talking about and back to the new features that you all are looking for. It's something that you guys can iterate and be very agile and a tremendous speed and a huge differentiator.
Absolutely. I mean, the event is called Enter the Mainframe. Imagine how much more time it might take to build a wonderful new feature like Cortex if you have to allocate engineering resources to migrations and kind of that traditional heavy lifting of infrastructure that leveraging cloud services really allow customers like Robinhood to move quickly.
Yeah. Can I talk about that for a second?
We'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think there's two parts to it. One is, how we think about legal and compliance and regulatory, and I think that traditionally you could look at those as like late stage in the product development process. And one thing that Robinhood has done really well is that legal, compliance, regulatory, operations are first-class partners when we start building the product, like from the very beginning. As soon as it's an idea, we're working with those teams to figure out how do we make this happen. I think the other part of it is those teams' attitude and approach, because they know about the mission we're on, which is for all of you, to empower you to make decisions faster and with better efficacy. And I think that is a huge differentiator for how the company operates. And I'm so grateful for those teams and their partnership as we're racing to deliver as much value to our customers as we can. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is technology. How do we invest and abstract? And for example, with indicator scripting, we're taking this. Everything we're doing is this agentic approach, and we're abstracting away the specific models that we're using, and that enables us to take advantage of technological advancements that are happening outside of Robinhood and help us focus on what we can deliver and do best, which is creating these amazing experiences for our customers that are tailored to their specific needs. And so I feel like those two things have really worked in our favor to accelerate our velocity and pace of development. We also have a culture of working hard and pushing, and Vlad is the number one representative of that in how he operates. But I think that really helps us. And Trevor and I were actually talking earlier. It wasn't always that way for us. We used to have technology used to be an impediment for us, and I think through a lot of hard work and investments, it's become a big accelerant. As we've grown.
Absolutely love it. Before we kind of we're going to spend a little time digging into 4 key use cases for generative AI at Robinhood, some of the benefits of those. Siva, I kind of want to get your take on the same question. Like, what role do you see AWS playing in Robinhood's innovation?
Yeah, Sudeep touched upon this briefly. Without AWS partnership runs deep. Even before AI, everything we built is on top of AWS. Without AWS, I don't even think we could move this fast. In addition to what Burke said, the foundation is AWS for us. We use every possible service and technology that you guys offer. Starting with RDS, Aurora, the compute, data, networking, everything. So recently, since we are talking about AI and product development and all that, if you think about how we built Cortex, how we are moving in the agentic journey, the foundation is AWS has the Bedrock offering, where that's how we quickly prototype, quickly build applications, quickly integrate with the frontier models out there. And it's not just that. So a lot of what we do, we don't just use the models, but we have to do things on top. It's a mix of traditional ML, taking some of these models, distilling them, fine-tuning them, all of that. AWS makes it easy for us. We use SageMaker. We've been using it for a while. Now we use it more to fine-tune. A lot of our data is in S3, or that's where we access the context to give to the agents. And then we store the data back in DynamoDB to surface it back to the user. So I can keep going on and on and on. So AWS is foundational for us. The partnership runs deep. We discuss the cost trade-offs. It's a very open, honest conversation. Great partnership. I continue to enjoy and look forward. And we have a great infra team as well. Since we are giving shout out, we have an infra team, data team, AI team. We work together. It's great to see. One more thing I'll add to what Burke said. We pride in going fast, but the key thing that I want to say is, in my 4+ years I've been here, we are not only going fast, we've been really thinking about safety, reliability, quality. That's the thing. That's the art of engineering. How do you move fast, and how do you keep making the quality bar go up? And again, there AWS helps quite a bit when we talk about AI, how we built the guardrails, how we built the evals. Yeah, I can keep going on and on.
Yeah, no, I think as working with you all as your primary cloud provider, it's really interesting to see how the patterns of the market, like a tweet, can drive huge spikes. And so for us, offering an elastic kind of pay-as-you-go platform makes a lot of sense for organizations that have to operate in this environment where it can be difficult to predict week over week or month over month how the market's going to react to different signals.
Yeah, maybe I'll add one more thing to that too, which is we're actually going even further than we have in the past with using AWS's services. So migrations to things like Aurora to EKS that take the burden off of our engineering teams so that, again, we can focus on the customers and doing what only we can do, and letting the AWS team, who has deep expertise and the resources to manage it, just take that off our plates. And that partnership is so critical to our velocity, and not just in terms of speed of delivery, but to Siva's point around safety and quality, because if we don't have those two things, we're slower. Because we're firefighting, we're dealing with issues, whether it's with customers, with regulators, whatever it happens to be. It doesn't help anybody. And so it's paramount that we have that focus from the very beginning.
Absolutely love it. By the way, folks, I forgot to mention, for those folks in the audience, you're going to be the lucky recipients of some AWS swag if you hang around. I was supposed to.
That's the only reason they're here. That's the only reason they're here.
They were hanging out even without the promise of swag, but now they know. Now they know if you hang out.
Wow. Well, thank you for being here.
And Trevor said AWS doesn't give out swag often.
Yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare. So
yes.
we got clap.
Yeah, that's our first applause. We'll note that's our first and only applause, likely.
No, there is some applause-worthy content coming, because in fact, the next topic that I would really want to touch on with you all more is Cortex, right? And we've seen the two launches today, or from yesterday, the two announcements. And prior to that, Cortex Digest launch up. Andrew, I know you were really involved in a lot of the development and that project. I'd love to just hear a little bit more about kind of where things started and what it looks like from your side of the equation.
For indicator scripting and scanning, or
for whatever part of the Cortex portfolio you feel most comfortable diving into.
Yeah. I think we started thinking about this at the beginning of the year. We were thinking about I'll talk about scripting and scanning.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted to offer custom indicators, okay, and that's where people have an idea of an indicator that they can show on a chart that they can use to decide to place a trade. That's really what an indicator is. And there's this whole world. I mean, it's not even a world. It's like a universe of people that invest a ton of time and energy into these really powerful indicators that give them an edge in the market. And so we knew we needed to bring that. We heard that loud and clear from our customers after we launched Legend at the Hood Summit last year. And we were looking around at the competition and sort of how things were done traditionally, and we were like, okay, maybe we can kind of do things the same way, but with the Robinhood differentiator of user experience and price. Those are two key things that I think we really excel at. And then, we started kind of doing some prototyping, and we were like, I don't know if this is really going to fit. And then we were like, what if we had like an AI interface into this? And then we got into like, maybe it's like an IDE. And I'm like, we're gonna recreate like GitHub Copilot, in Robinhood Legends. And I saw that and was like, that'll be so cool. And then my second thought was, gosh, that would be so much work. and will that actually help our customers? Because then what we're doing is we're just giving them a faster way to become proficient at a random scripting or programming language. And then we took a step back and we were like, what do we really want this to become? And that's where we were like, what if we just got rid of any interface other than English? And I say that like it's this revolutionary thing, and of course all around us, we're ChatGPT is the #1 app on the App Store, so we're looking at what's going on in the broader world. But I think for trading, where customers require so much configuration, customizability, we compared people to F1 drivers last night, and they want their hands on the wheel. You know, it was a big risk to like take that away in some ways and say, hey, your interface is this AI assistant. And we started prototyping it, and it was like every person we showed it to within the company was like, this is so cool. This is so amazing. And I mentioned the scanner stuff where like it was things we couldn't have even predicted. And so that's really how we got started. And then we started digging into like, okay, how do we make this work? Because we still need a programming language, an esoteric programming language at that, to back all of it. How do we make sure that the model knows what's going on, that we have the appropriate guardrails in place? So again, our approach is agentic. We have at least 3 major guardrails around the tone of the response. You know, do they sound like a professional? Second is the syntax of the script that's generated. Will this thing even run? And then third is around regulatory and making sure that safety is first and foremost. And that, you know, that all through close collaboration with our AI platform team sort of birthed what we showed, you know, yesterday. And it was a big iterative process, lots of, like everything we do, we're very hands-on. We kind of live by the demo, you know, and not just the big shiny demo that you saw at the keynote last night, but like the regular everyday use case. And I think it helps us that a lot of people at Robinhood are the customer. You know, you heard Q say this last night. He literally is in meetings trading futures. But, you know, having this really opinionated group of people helps us like zone in on the right experience.
And what I really picked up on that story was that just like, you know, a lot of organizations, you know, decide we want to invest in generative AI for customer experience, but you can see the discipline that you all express to making sure you're pointing that at the right problem. What is the highest leverage problem that we can solve with a natural lange interface for our traders?
I like leaning into the risks as well, because at some point, yes, you have to make that decision that this is disruptive, but there's a calculated risk.
And it's still a risk. We haven't shipped it yet. I mean, everybody here knows that. We haven't shipped it yet. You can go play with it in the booth, but it's not the same as having it in your hands, you know, and there's still more work to be done, but we think it's going to be the right long-term approach to, again, put the power in the hands of the people.
Yes.
You know, that's really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I was, if we have time, I can go back a year before where we started with Cortex. We are like, hey, we have to do something, but then what's the best customer problem that we can solve with the technology and make it safe and regulatorily compliant? We looked at a bunch of use cases. I'm not going to talk about all of them now. I mean, we will ship them all at some point, but right now we did ship Cortex Digest. We see the usage, we see the adoption. It's really heartening to see how people are using it. There were a lot of great ideas there. Digest, even though right now, I mean, like Buck said a few times, the experience that Robinhood comes up with and how we make it we make it cost effective for that's how we have succeeded. Here it might look simple. Oh, you're getting a bunch of sources and then you have an agent, and it's not. I can tell you that much. There are a few folks from the AI team here. We started with a lot of use cases, and then we were like, okay, what's the one thing that's easier that we can ship? We always have that mindset going back. How do we ship fast, safe, and fast? We landed on this use case after a lot of research, thinking about what's feasible. We worked with the regulators closely, what they're going to let us ship, and all of that. And going back to Cortex Digest as a feature, we have a roadmap. This is just the beginning, by the way. We are going to do a lot of things, but just launching that piece, like Buck said, legal and compliance were with us from day one. We had the technology team, product team, design team, legal and compliance, and then we tested it internally. We were like, and we had the eval framework to look for hallucination. To date, we are like hallucination free, but a lot of the work goes in to come up with the eval set. What do we test for? Integrating with a bunch of trusted sources, quoting those sources. So we are not just showing something. It's timely, it's relevant, it's consistent. The tone is right. We test for a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And then, we quote those sources. So it's a lot of work that goes in. And once we got the first feature out, now we are of course confident. We have a foundation we're going to build on top of, and you are going to see, we will launch scripting and scanning early next year. there is more in the works.
A lot more.
Yeah,
lot more.
I love the comment on the level. Like, these are complex engineering problems, and the team at Robinhood has done an incredible job building the evaluation, the tooling to make sure this is rolled out in a safe and an effective manner. And for those of you who, by the way, haven't explored Cortex Digest yet, that's available right in the app for Robinhood Gold users. I love looking at that on a lot of my favorite indicators.
It's available on crypto as well. If you're crypto traders, you can go look at crypto as well.
So let's talk about a generative AI application that you all launched before Cortex, your customer success agent. Again, folks, that's right there in the app, the bottom right. If you pop into Robinhood support, there's an agentic experience that's going to answer questions. The latest stat I heard is 65% of customer queries are handled by this chat application. That's an astounding number.
Yeah, I mean, I would be remiss. That's the first product that we launched, and then Cortex Digest came up later, since it was not so it's a similar journey there. Again, we have tried different approaches, and the current we look at how many cases get solved automatically. We are over 65% right now, and these customers are happy. You get 24/7 support as well. Again, it's a very similar journey. We experimented with the frontier models. Then now we made it agentic. We bring in the appropriate context at different steps of the whole agentic pipeline. There is proprietary information that Robinhood has. There is the personal, like the customer journey. And then there are knowledge articles that we need to ingest. And it took a lot of time. But once we got it, and then we see the feedback, again, this is something I was telling one of my friends recently. It looks simple. Oh, CXBot is the use case that everybody goes in, but what goes in there to make it useful and make it successful, it's the same theme. Again, those two products out there and a lot of internal efficiency products that we've launched has set us up in a really good way to, you'll see faster, more velocity, where we are going to democratize this AI for our customers as well.
Yeah,
so
that's
pretty exciting.
And you made an interesting comment there. So we've been talking so far about the generative AI experiences that customers can utilize within the application, actual traders, but there's also a lot of innovation happening inside of the company to make sure that you all operate more efficiently, that you can continue to move fast but stay lean and disciplined in that Robinhood fashion. I mean, a couple of examples that we've gotten to work for you all on in the last few months are, we all recently launched a really interesting financial crimes investigation agent. So if you all think about the burden on financial services customers like Robinhood, they have to investigate and report on events that are happening in the market, potential fraudulent events or crime events. That's a perfect place to insert generative AI into an employee experience. What we saw was about a 20% overall efficiency gain for those teams who are actually investigating financial crimes on behalf of Robinhood customers.
Yeah, and think about this. You know, financial crimes thankfully makes up, it's a very small percentage of what we do at Robinhood. But those customers are in serious pain.
Absolutely. Yeah, they may not be able to access their account.
They're in serious pain.
Yeah.
And so a 20% improvement in our response time is huge for those customers. It matters so much. And so that's thanks to, you know, our aggressive application of AI tooling across the company. And it also applies to engineers. You know, we're automating and generating more code and output than ever before.
Yeah.
And that, again, enables us both internally and shipping to just make things faster, better, more reliable, more consistent, again, for our customers, because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, you mentioned coding assistants. I'd be remiss not to mention, in fact, we work with some folks here in the audience, Yash and Dev, great partners in the AI org, or Dave, great partners in the AI org at Robinhood to launch access to Claude Code for Robinhood developers. So if you all watch the news, if you're there in
second clap.
Yeah, it's a second clap. Thank you for the second clap. This is a leading agentic coding companion that, again, to what you mentioned earlier, Sudeep, many customers spend weeks, months deliberating over what tools do we use, how do we roll it out. within days, you deliver tools to the general base of Robinhood developers. So just really exciting, inspiring to see. Folks, we got to close it out, but I want to open it up. Sadiq, Siva, any closing comments? What can folks expect next in the partnership?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we just want to continue the amazing partnership. I mean, one of the things also I think that we didn't get a chance to touch on is the mutual transparency that we've had, right?
Yeah.
And our products and services coming up, but also from a business perspective, it's our goal to ensure that you're differentiated, right, in business, and we want to continue to do that, with you. So we're looking forward to the continued partnership.
Yeah, that's what I would say to close it out. The partnership has been great, and we need to be even more closer, and the velocity is going to be even higher. So thanks for everything.
Yeah,
of course. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure to sponsor the conference and be up here. Thank you all for attending today.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of Hood Summit.
Oh, the swags are here.
Your swag away.
The swag's here.
Patience pays off.